annoying her brother. She's in 6th grade and she goes to Meadsmill Middle School. And an interesting fact about her is that she appeared in the Northville's monthly magazine as courtesy of a poetry award she received. So please give a round of applause to Nidhi.
Good evening, everyone. Shall I request all of you to close your eyes and cover your ears for a few seconds? I want you to keep closing your eyes and ears for a couple of more seconds. Don't worry, it's just temporary. Imagine if your world is always like this and you are in a silent and dark world with nothing to see and nothing to hear. How would you live? You can relax now. Could you even learn that words have meaning? But this person persevered to overcome challenges she faced in her life. By the way, my name is Nidhi Narendra Kumar, and I'm in 6th grade. Did you guess who that personality is? Yes, I will be talking about one of the inspiring leaders of American history. It's none other than Helen Keller! She inspired us by learning the words have meaning and proving that even being blind and deaf cannot stop one from having an education. Let's see how Helen Keller has come upon struggles, her hard work, radical political views, and we'll also see how she is special. So, let's begin with Helen's birth, family, and childhood. Helen Adams Keller was born into a wealthy family on June 27, 1880, to Arthur Henry Keller and Catherine Everett Adams Keller. She had 4 siblings. They are Mildred, Philip, James, and William Keller. When Helen was born, she was a normal baby, like you and me, and she could see and hear. But sadly, when Helen was 19 months old, Helen contracted an unknown illness. Helen survived, but her ability to see and hear disappeared completely. During her childhood, Helen was a disobedient child with no rules set in place. Her parents were overprotective of Helen due to her disability. Helen always threw temper tantrums whenever she didn't get her way. Despite all these difficulties, how was Helen educated? It's beyond our imagination. Yes, it was not like a regular school education. As you know, Helen is a special child. However, this did not stop Helen from getting educated. Her parents sought out a physician, who referred them to Alexander Graham Bell. He recommended Helen to the Perkins Institute for the Blind, where they found 20-year-old former student Anne Sullivan as Helen's teacher. It was a blessing in Helen's life. Anne began to teach Helen how to communicate by spelling words into her hand. Helen was frustrated and had outbursts frequently because she did not understand that every object had a word representing it. But just imagine, as I said before, if we don't have any clue about the materialistic world, how would be our imagination? Her discovery of language occurred the month after, when she realized that the letters that Anne was putting on her palm was a word. Helen then realized the words have meaning. Helen's curiosity reached her admission to Radcliffe College, and in 1904, Helen graduated with honors, becoming the first deaf-blind person to earn a Bachelor of Arts degree. We all know the youth life is a beautiful phase in our life. Even though Helen's life was not regular like ours, she tried to make her youth years worthwhile. After she graduated from college, Helen began to write many books on her viewpoints of the world. At age 22, Helen wrote a book with the help of Anne and her husband John Macy. It was called The Story of My Life. In 1962, the movie The Miracle Worker was based on Helen's book. Hope some of you would have watched it, right? Helen also wrote the book called The World I Live In when she was in her late 20s. It's a very inspiring book. Gives the readers the chance to see how Helen felt about the world. This book sale went out fast. Pretty cool. Now, you're all probably wondering, what am I going to talk about Helen's work life? When we think about Helen's work life, you must know Helen is a visionary leader. Helen was also an author, a lecturer, and a political activist. Helen wrote a total of 14 books and several articles. She loved lecturing and used to go to places to speak very often. Example, one of her famous lectures was on January 22nd, 1916, about disabled rights in Wisconsin, made her a world-famous speaker after this lecture. In 1924, Helen moved on into engaging in lecture books on behalf of the American Foundation for the Blind. As a political activist, Helen was a strong socialist, suffragette, and pacifist. One of the strong moves in Helen's political life was when the President of the United States was refusing entry to Jewish refugees of Hitler's terror. Helen was speaking out vigorously against these crimes against humanity. As Helen's worldview evolved in response to global events, she had a close companionship with other like-minded, non-communist socialists, such as Albert Einstein. Her work with these individuals during the post-war years included various initiatives opposing atomic warfare, racism, and Cold War imperialism. Wow, Helen's political involvement is vast. Same like most people, Helen wanted to be married. She had a love affair in her 30s. She wanted to marry her secretary, Peter Fagan. Helen wanted to convey this message happily to her mother, but it ended up like this. Mom, I want to marry Peter Fagan. No, Helen, you're not allowed to marry anybody. We believe in eugenics. What is eugenics? To not pass on the non-desirable traits. Mom, so Helen never married and never had any children. I feel adults might think it's good for her, right? No person is perfect. We all make mistakes in our life. Same like us, Helen made some mistakes. Okay, we all heard about sibling rivalry, right? Well, Helen was a little girl. She was jealous of her little sister Mildred because she got all the attention. Helen was so furious one day and knocked her crib over. Other than that, the mistake Helen had made was when America was in a crucial time opposing communist strategies and regimes. Helen supported the communist idea, thinking it was good in her view, but gathered negative attention out of it. Another mistake Helen had made was she supported eugenics after her mom stopped her marriage. Later, eugenics fell into disfavor after the misuse of its conviction by the Nazis. Helen regretted that throughout her life. On top of all these pressures, Helen faced many criticisms, but learned how to get the positive aspects. Helen wrote a book called The Frost King. Newspapers criticized Helen, saying that she allegedly plagiarized the work from a 19th century author. Helen was more involved in socialism. Some of the newspapers criticized her as a silent militant and tried to divert her strong socialistic thought and action. Helen Keller was also criticized for having Southern ties. Many people in the North viewed many Southerners as racist. Even Anne Sullivan was hesitant to co-teach Helen at first because they had previously owned slaves. Helen tried not to be associated with these ties and was against racism. Even though Helen faced much criticism, she persevered and became the respected person she is today. She proved this from her very own quote, "Keep your face to the sunshine and you cannot see the shadows." What she's saying is that if you focus on the positive aspects of your goal, the bad things will not bother you. If you look at each famous figure's story, they definitely battled against the rejections. Helen was also rejected by many politicians after she expressed her standpoint on politics. They said that she did not know the world very well because of her disabilities. Helen's other rejection was, ever since 1933, copies of her books have been banned and burned by the German Nazis, who deemed her to be too sympathetic to communism. Another rejection of Helen was, some of the organizations rejected Helen's idea of gathering sources to battle against blindness in the world. Even though the rejections were happening at one side, Helen gathered many people's support and made her goal achieved. Now push all these negativities aside and move on to Helen's outstanding achievements. Helen had made a bunch of outstanding achievements, such as 1. In 1915, Helen is elected to the first board of directors for the American Braille Press. 2. In 1932, Helen is elected to the American Foundation for the Blind's Board of Trustees. Helen devoted much of her later life in raising funds for this foundation. 3. In 1948, she was sent to Japan as America's first Goodwill Ambassador. 4. Helen wrote 14 published books and over 475 speeches and essays on topics such as faith, blindness prevention, and atomic energy. Helen was also honored around the globe and garnered numerous awards. 1. In 1953, Helen was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. 2. In 1955, Helen received an Honorary Academy Award as the inspiration for the documentary about her life, Helen Keller and Her Story. 3. In 1961, at Washington, D.C., Helen received the Lions Humanitarian Award for her lifetime of service to humanity and for providing the inspiration to the blind programs. 4. In 1964, President Lyndon Johnson confers the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest civilian honor, upon Helen. Okay, why did I choose Helen? I believe Helen is an inspiring individual. Helen's optimism and courage were keenly felt on many occasions. She proved this from her very own quote. Optimism is a faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope. What she is saying is that dwell in your positive thoughts, which will turn you into an achiever. That is why I chose Helen Keller. She is a determined achiever. Not only this, but personally, I love to read biographies. Helen's life made me so curious to know how the person can live without vision and hearing. My curiosity led to my research. My research led me to read a lot about Helen. And my reading led me to share my knowledge with you today. And I found any mystery can be broken by self-confidence and hard work. So, we learned something about Helen Keller today. Helen's knowledge gave her confidence. The same way, my confidence class knowledge gave me the confidence to speak in front of you today. Through this class, I broke my comfort circle and faced challenges in speaking. I learned, and I'm still learning, how to be confident and believe that what I do is right. I would like to end this speech with a few thank yous. I'd first like to thank the Honorable Judge, Miss Rubin, for spending her Saturday evening listening to our speeches. I would love to say a big thank you to Vidyanti for helping me with public speaking and life skills. I would also like to thank my mentor, R.B. Shaw, for helping me enhance my speech. I have no words to thank my parents and my brother for their time, love, and motivation, which always boosts me in my life. And last, but not least, I would like to thank you all, the audience, for spending your wonderful Saturday evening listening to our speeches. Thank you all for listening to me today.
So you said she was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize in 1953. What did she do to deserve that nomination?
Well, Helen Keller has devoted her life to many charities, and she loves world peace. She helps humanity in any way she could. That's why she took on politics. She decided that would be her way of helping the world.
And then, from my research, there was something about she got a Bachelor's of Arts degree at Radcliffe College. Do you know what she got her degree in?
She got it in art.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's take one question from that side for Helen Keller.
How do you think that Helen Keller has impacted life today?
Wait, can you say that again?
Yeah, how do you think that Helen Keller has impacted life today?
Helen Keller has impacted life today because back in the day, many people hadn't thought much about blind and deaf people and believed that they could succeed. Well, Helen Keller has changed that view of many people by proving that blind and deaf people can still do the same things that many regular people can do.
Can we take one from this side? Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Well, there is this movie about Helen Keller. So in that, they show the teacher is also blind.
Yes, I watched the movie too. It's The Miracle Worker. So Anne Sullivan was also temporarily blind due to an infection in her eye. Well, she was her parents were poor immigrants, so they couldn't fix her eye. Although a surgery fixed her eyes, but she still needed to wear sunglasses because too much light could still hurt her eye.
Huge round of applause.